Yeah, I think this was really a decision that was based on the need for some change, some fresh ideas, new energy. Had nothing to do with anybody's performance. I think over the last 7 years, we've had an amazing group of coaches, all of whom have contributed greatly to our success. And we have had some turnover, and I think some turnover is good in this league and for our players. So I'm excited about the new additions. We have a little different structure within the staff. I think it'll all be very positive for the players and for the staff as well.
Was there anything from last season that led to a feeling of we need a change? Was there any sort of urgency or changes to be made in the development side?
Nothing in particular, just a feeling at the end of the season that it was time for some, like I said, just some fresh blood and new ideas, and very, very difficult to make those decisions, as you might expect. A lot of people here who have been here a long time, who did wonderful jobs, who we love and respect, and but this is the nature of pro sports, and you constantly have to be evolving and adapting, and this felt like a necessary step for us.
Steve, in terms of if you're a coach with a player who is not vaccinated, how much time have you spent trying to figure out contingencies in case that person's not available, or how do you play it if he is, if he isn't? Just how you will handle the situation if it comes to that when the season starts?
I haven't spent any time thinking about that, nor will I. We'll just see how everything plays out. We're hopeful that it all is resolved, over the next couple of weeks. But we're going into camp tomorrow with a plan to have everybody out on the floor and ready to roll.
Hey, Steve. Jason Dumas, Crown 4. Hope you had a good summer. You mentioned last year that navigating winning now and developing some of your young guys isn't always easy. I just wanted to ask, do you have a plan for Moses and Jonathan, and what are your expectations for them this season?
I think, the plan is to develop them every single day. What that entails is film work, on-court work and practice, scrimmages, and possibly games. So we have to find the right mix of all that as a staff, as an organization. We'll see where our rotation takes us, in preseason and into the regular season. And then you make adjustments accordingly. The good news is this year, I think we have a lot more flexibility because of, the COVID restrictions a lot of them being lifted. We'll have more options, more availability. And I think it'll be a very healthy environment for both those young guys.
Hi, Coach. Rusty Simmons from the Chronicle. I know it's the first day here, but how are you guys approaching that starting two-guard spot until you get Clay back in the mix?
We're not, going to figure anything out over the next few days. It'll be the next few weeks, and obviously by opening night we'll have a decision. But we've got a lot of really good candidates. You know who they are, so I won't go down the list, but we're very comfortable that we'll find the right combination of players.
Hey, Coach. Colin Ward-Henninger, CBSSports.com. From the end of the 2019 season, obviously, having one of the worst records in the league, COVID hits. Now you're back playing with no fans. You're competing for a playoff spot. Now you have a chance to get back to championship contention. I'm just curious, not only as a coach and on the basketball side, but as a human, as a man in this world, how has your perspective changed over the last couple of years?
Well, I think the perspective I have is, number one, how lucky we are to do what we do, how lucky we are when we have our health and the health of those around us, family and friends, and how lucky we are to play basketball for a living in front of an incredible group of fans that provides the energy and joy that we thrive on. So those things, a lot of those things have been taken away in the last couple of years, and absolutely brings a a fresh perspective and maybe a necessary one, given everything that's happened in the world and in our country the last couple of years. I think, there is a sense, at least for me, that, we have to understand we all play a part in society. We have this this sort of outsized view of what freedom is and American individualism, and while it's certainly amazing to enjoy that freedom, we also have to function as a society, as a community. That includes our team, our own little community as a team. It includes our communities, our surrounding areas, our entire country, and it feels to me like we've lost some perspective on that, and I hope we can get some of that back and start to function as one again.
Bill Huang from Tencent, China. Happy birthday, Coach.
Thank you.
So last season, you set a goal for the team to be a top 10 defensive team. So coming into this new season, do you have any practical or more realistic goals for the teams?
Well, we were very pleased to finish with the fifth-ranked defense in the league last year. It was a major accomplishment for us. A lot of guys deserve a lot of credit for that, starting with Draymond. I think he's obviously, the leader of our defensive unit. Andrew Wiggins, who had a fantastic season. Steph, who was way better defensively than anybody is willing to give him credit for. And we can go down the list. We had a lot of guys, Loon, guys who really are good defenders. So, the idea is if you're going to be a championship contender, you got to be balanced. And last year we were 21st in offensive rating. So we got to have better balance to our team this year. And that's the goal going in, is to have, a team that can maintain its defensive identity, but hopefully rebuild our offensive identity with better balance and better spacing.
Steve, Bob mentioned Iguodala in here, maybe already kind of acting as a mentor for the young guys. Have you been around him since he's been in? And do you need to see him play in preseason? Does Andre Iguodala need to show you what he has left, or do you know at this point?
Well, I watched him in Miami the last couple of years, and he was really effective. And as you know, with Andre, it goes so far beyond, points and scoring. It's and even what you see defensively. It's about the leadership, the mentoring, the being in the right spot at the right time. And given the goal of what we're trying to do with the development of young players and winning games, I can't think of a better player to have on our team who can help us do both. So could not be more excited that Andre's back.
Kind of a two-part question a little bit, but considering you have two guys that are going to enter the season injured, some rookies, how needed do you think that 15th spot will be to potentially have a guy who could maybe, play in the rotation? And then what do you think of the competitors you'll have for that 15th spot, some of the new veterans? Yeah,
I think, there's a reason we've invited people to come in. I'm excited about Langston and Avery. I'm excited about Gary Payton, being under contract. We have to use training camp to see what we have and to see how the pieces fit together in this year's puzzle. And whether we use that spot or not, we'll see. But it's the whole point of camp, is to really get a feel for our team and then put our heads together over the next few weeks and figure that out.
Bob told us that there's no specific date for Clay's return, might be December, January, but Clay has to be the one who says, I'm ready now. How much will his voice matter with his readiness? Because it seems like Clay's the type of guy who wanted to play yesterday.
Yeah, Clay is going to tell us he's ready quickly, but Rick has to tell us he's ready too. So it's a combination of things, but there is a history with Achilles injuries that our group has studied carefully. We have very recent experience with it with DeMarcus. I know Clay has been in touch with Kevin Durant and they've talked about, Kevin's return and healing process. So, we need to give Clay some time. He's in great shape. He's going to take part in a lot of training camp coming up. No contact yet, but a lot of the other activities, and he's really excited about where he is. So we'll just see where it all goes. But I know I can't wait for that night. And Bob already told me it has to be a home game, so I've got that figured out. We will not be starting Clay out on the road somewhere.
Steve, saying on the injury front, with what you've seen from James over the summer, how close, and I know Bob already said there's no timeline necessarily, but how close do you feel like he is from getting back on the floor and being closer to game action?
Yeah, we don't have a timeline. He's doing great with his rehab. We're going to be very careful. Obviously, he's a young player, incredibly talented, and we have a great training staff that is going to be cautious and really walk him through every step of the rehab process. So we'll just see how it goes, but very comfortable with the development process that we have in place. Our development staff is really doing a great job already employing a lot of the structure of our development that's going to happen, in between games. And all of our young players will be getting a healthy amount of playing time, even if they're not, playing in games for us. They're going to be playing a lot of basketball.
Steve, how was the experience in China this summer and your whole Olympic experience?
It's an amazing experience. It was, I felt really bad for the Japanese people because, they spent years preparing for the Olympics, and it's such an amazing culture of service. And so everywhere we went, people were so kind and generous and caring, and yet nobody could come to watch. So it was very sad, but it was really, really fun to be a part of a gold medal winning team, coaching all the players, coaching Kevin and Draymond again, getting to know all the other guys on the team, and then coaching with Pop, who has become a real mentor for me and one of my best friends, along with the rest of an amazing staff. It was a phenomenal experience.
Coach Chris Alvarez, ABC. Players always talk about in the offseason working on something or thinking about something or trying to get better. From a coach, what do you do in the offseason that you try to work on or get better, or something you learned about?
I think we're all constantly evolving, and I tend to pick up little things from books and podcasts, and it's amazing how much you can learn from stuff that has nothing to do with basketball, but everything to do with human beings. And I find myself in the summer highlighting a lot of passages, writing them down, keeping them in a file, because I know that they will come in handy during the year. Coaching individual guys, coaching the team, just trying